Welcome back everyone, I'm Alex from Moloko and today I am packing my stuff to go cycling in Tenerife. As someone who organizes cycling trip for a living, I do pack a lot. I pack my bag every month to go traveling, and I've also been learning a lot of tips, hacks, tricks to make packing as easy as possible. And so today I thought I would show you all of my hacks and tips to make your packing as easy as possible. Let's get going. As I've said, I organize cycling trips for a living, so every month we fly somewhere different, and I take between 12 to 20 people with me. And I've learned also over the years what are the questions that are coming over and over again from those people. And the first one will always be, what airline do I fly with? I either fly from Heathrow or from Gatwick. Those are my two options, which means I am left with two options for airline, EasyJet or British Airways. Because I take my bike abroad all the time, I don't rent, I find that British Airways often ends up being cheaper than EasyJet, because with EasyJet the ticket looks super cheap, but then by the time you've added your bike and your luggage and blah blah blah, it ends up costing quite a lot. However, with British Airways, for a price that's a little bit cheaper, I've got my 23 kg checked-in bag, so that's my bike. And then I've got a suitcase, a carry-on suitcase I can have with me on the flight. I put all my clothes and kit in that. And then you also have a laptop bag, and they're super generous with this. I use a backpack, a 3-day backpack, and I put so much shit in it. It's like Mary Poppins bag. So I feel like for a price that's really reasonable, I can pack everything I need with me. Tip number 2, check the weather forecast. You're going to need to know what the temperature is going to be able to know what kit to take. If I'm going like short sleeves, long sleeves, a bit of a range, etc, etc. Don't be too wide, because on islands like this, you might have different weather in the south or in the north, so really pick where you're going to be and the location where you're going to be to know what's coming for you. So I'm in La Laguna. That looks pretty good. Let's say from 10 degrees to 16, 17, 18, and across the whole week. So my app doesn't show me any rain, but we all know the weather can change, so I'm still going to plan for that. So instead of taking long sleeve jersey, I'm going to stick to short sleeves, and I'm going to make sure I have gilet, jackets, etc. So if I'm cold, I can just go and alternate, but I'm not going to be roasting in my long sleeve jersey for the whole climb of tidy. Okay, tip 3, packing cubes. Right, so I do have my carry-on suitcase with me. My mission is going to be to make sure that all my clothes, kit and casual, fit into that little suitcase. So I know from experience that I can have 2 of those packing cubes to fit side by side. So I'm going to have one like that, and I'm going to have the other one like that, and that's all I'm allowed to get. So I'm obviously quite lucky. I've got shit tons of kits. I can't take it all. I think we all agree that this is not gonna fit in my packing cubes. So I've got one, the rule is I've got one for the cycling kit and I've got one for the casual clothes. And I'm in Tenerife for 6 days. So this is how I operate. I keep the rain jacket for the end. I'm riding 4 days, so I'm allowed 4 pairs of bib shorts. If you've watched my Mallorca vlog before, you would know that a bird shat on me when I was wearing those bibs. And I've cleaned them over and over and over again. But look, the bird stain is still on, which breaks my heart, but I'm still taking them. They're my favorite bib shorts. This is all my cycling kits in one pile, and it has to fit in this. Challenge accepted. So now that my jerseys are all well organized, I'm going to roll them, and that's my tip number 4. Rolling your clothes is going to make you save an insane amount of space in the suitcase. Nice and tight. And I save this here. That's bib done. You see, I even have some space left. I should have taken more kits. Cycling kits, all my casual clothes. I've got my underwear and swimming costume in here. I mean, satisfying as, isn't it? Okay, I put that here, and then I have a little bit more space here for an essentials, the Birkenstocks. Voila! Tip number 5 is to have, before you remove anything, any pedals, before you do anything, is to have your bike in the right gear. So when it's in the box, you want to have some tension on the chain. You don't want it to be slack because you want the bike to be as protected as possible. And therefore, I'm going to be in my big cog, and towards the back, I'm going to stay into this range of gear, so my wheel is easy to take off. Right, so tip number 6, the bike bag or box. There's 2 schools in there. Some people swear by the box because they think it's like hard rock, solid, and your bike is more protected. I've been using this bag for 3 years now. I've been traveling I don't know how many times with my bike and I never had any issues, touch wood. The reason why I use this is there are 2 massive advantages to the Evoque Bike Pro bag. By the way, this is not a sponsored. I have bought this bag, I'm not working with Evoque, and I bloody love it because it literally takes me less than half an hour to pack my bike. The only things I need to do is to remove my pedals that I just did and to take off the wheels and then put the bike in the bag, and that's all done. Next tip, and very important, you need 2 of those to put in your brake pads, because if your brakes are being activated on the way and there's nothing in between the brake pads, it's going to stick them up together and then you can't put your wheel back. Oh, it's in. Parfait. I think it's a very friendly bag for people who, you know, don't know how to take the chain off and don't know how to take the rear make off and everything. So I think this is as easy as bike packing gets. Okay, another pro tip. I found that if anything touches your gears, it can drain your Di2. So what I do to avoid that, I've charged my bike, obviously, before going, but to avoid the battery ending, I actually unplug my Di2 for the time of the trip. It takes 2 seconds. My Di2 cable is just connected here, so all I have to do is to pull that bit out. I just, you know, just tuck it there, and that's all. That's another tip. So when you get on the other side and you assemble and you put your bike together, don't leave it there until the next day when you start your ride. Try it. Try to change the gear, check everything on the bike and ride before going on the big ride, because you do not want to leave and realize after, you know, I don't know, 500 meters that you can't change your gears anymore because you haven't. Oh, no, actually, we don't care, you just plug it in. Ignore that bit. Okay. Wheel tip. You do not want to have 80 psi in your tires to fly, that's a bit much, so you need to take some air off. You don't need to deflate the whole thing, but just a tad. Squeegee enough, perfect. And then the other wheel tip that's very important, you do not want the grease from your cassettes to contaminate your rotor. The reason why I'm saying this is because when you put it in that bag, if you just put it like this, maybe on the way here, I'm going to put my disc against this side, and on the way there, I'm going to put my disc on the other side, and then there'll be grease left, and it's exactly what we want to avoid. So you can do 2 things. Either you pick a side on which you're always going to have your disc. So for example, you can think, okay, my disc always go on the Evoque side. Or you can use a little bag, like a freezing bag on which I've got disc written on, so I know I'm never going to get confused. And this bag goes around my disc for extra protection. Nice and protected. So you can see this is gunge anyway, so I know that goes on my cassette because it's full of grease. Et voilà. This is the most essential part of the bag. So you can see the rear mech is against the bag, is a soft bag. So what you need to do, you need to go as low as possible. You need to press this here. And when you're going to close your bag, you're going to have this in the front and this giving like a really nice gap. So if you tap here, nothing can happen, the bike is protected. Okay, next tip. I've got my glasses, my shoes and my helmet, and I put all of them in that bag, and to have them nice and tight, I'm using 1 more packing cube. And you know what we were about to forget? Pedals. Okay, and then I am taking with me a handlebar bag, very important because this is where I'm gonna shove all my food, all my layers, everything during the ride. So this bag is actually awesome, it's really big. I can put lots of stuff in there. I am gonna put my saddle bag with my puncture repair kit. So with me, I've got 2 CO2 canisters. I also have tire levers. I've got 2 spare tubes and ibuprofen. Pedals in the bag, there's grease on them. In there. And I still have some space. Multi-tool. That's getting quite heavy. Torque wrench. And this goes in there. Okay, so that's the bike done. My clothes. And the last thing I'm missing is my nutrition. So because I don't use any gels, I'm just on powder and bars. I'm just putting everything in my laptop bag and we're ready to go. And my final tip for this video is actually to have a list. Open the notes on your phone, make yourself a list of all the things you need to think about and process by, you know, what do you put in the suitcase? When do you put in the bike box? I even have a list, I don't really use it anymore, but I still have it, of everything that goes into my laptop bag because I don't want to forget a cable, I don't want to forget an adapter, I don't want to forget sunscreen, I don't want to forget my passport, that would be real shit. And when you're in the flow of packing, it's very easy to forget those things. So the list is actually the #1 hack for doing everything. So there you go. Those were my top tips to pack for a cycling holiday. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give us a like, subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this. Again, I travel with my bike every single month, so you will have more videos like this with tips. And if you want to see what cycling in Tenerife looks like, make sure to subscribe to the channel not to miss the next video. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next one.